Here is the name of the man who bought the Range Rover of more than 100 million CFA francs to Khady Touré. What he does to the girls of Abidjan with public money. We gave the chance to the elected official who offered the Range Rover 2023 to the host Touré Kadidjata, known as Touré Khady, to come and denounce himself. As is the characteristic of cowards, he did not dare to reveal himself in broad daylight. This does not surprise me from him. He thus gives me the task of having to talk about him. The person in question is an illiterate. A former vagabond in Korogo, he wandered around the city and did small services for one and all. He was known as the good little boy of the very rich transporter Kassim Koulibaly, for whom he ran errands when the latter was passing through Korogo. He was also a bouncer in the Kassim Koulibaly nightclub called Le Kajo Nan. He clung very much to the latter's children in order to benefit from a few coins and give himself the illusion of being part of this provincial bourgeoisie that he envied so much. Thanks to a stroke of luck, he was able to obtain a visa for the United States. Indeed, during one of his trips to Uncle Sam's country, Kassim Koulibaly took him there and his good little boy took the opportunity to disappear into thin air. With his thug physique, he has worked in all sorts of jobs: diver, street vendor, handler, nightclub bouncer and security guard. For the record, he and the current Minister of Women, Family and Children, Nassaniba Touré, wife of Tibu Kamara, were employed as dishwashers in the restaurant Le Martins in Washington, D.C. In the United States, he was best known as a strongman in charge of security during RDR demonstrations. Before meeting Alassane Ouattara, he was the bodyguard of Adama Toungara, General Abdoulaye Coulibaly and Amadou Gon Coulibaly when they went to the United States. Thanks to General Coulibaly, he was able to meet Alassane Ouattara and immediately put himself at his service as his personal bodyguard. To create an illusion, he wore the attire of a close protection agent of the American government and made people believe that he was an FBI agent. The one we are talking about is Lassina Ouattara. He was nicknamed Las FBI before he called himself Las RDR. And when Alassane Ouattara returned to Côte d'Ivoire and became president, he renamed himself Las PR. Now Las PR, how did it come out? I was sleeping and in my sleep, many people don't know, before I was called in Korogo Las Mary. When I worked here, it was Las Mary. I went to the United States, I was called Las RDR. I came from the United States, in my sleep, someone came to tell me that from today, your name is Las PR. I got up, I wrote at 8:35, I sat down, I launched a message on Facebook, everywhere, from today, my name is Las PR. And it started like that. In Korogo here, there is not a single child, even the president calls me Las PR. When Alassane Ouattara returned, he wanted to become one of his security agents. But he did not manage to find his place in the presidential security apparatus. As he was endearing and spent his time calling Dominique Ouattara, Maman Dominique, and never left Amadou Gon Coulibaly's office, the latter ended up pleading for him, and Alassane Ouattara found him a position as a mission officer at the presidency. This is where he became someone in Côte d'Ivoire, because this position allowed him to have a presidential pass, an access card to the presidential palace and a professional card with the coat of arms of the Republic. What a revenge on life for the former courier who has now become someone. Upon the death of Amadou Gon Coulibaly and to prevent the town hall from falling into the hands of Mamadou Sangafoa Coulibaly, the latter's enemy brother, Alassane Ouattara decided to co-opt Lassina Ouattara as RHDP mayor of Korogo. Having managed to access the Holy of Holies, that is to say the heart of the presidential palace, he sought to take his revenge on life and on those who were beyond him. All the women who refused him when he had nothing, he will make it his duty to put them all in his bed. Better, all the beautiful women that we covet, he has set himself the mission of undressing them one after the other. As if to say, the little new chi who hung around the streets of Korogo has succeeded today and no woman can resist him anymore. The list of women he has been through is longer than an arm, from the little waitress in a maquis to the mannered influencer who gives herself the airs of a star. He has taken them all into his bed. He has an unstoppable argument: money. Lots of money. Indeed, He knows that these girls would not have even agreed to answer his hello if he were not mayor and did not work at the presidency. He is not handsome, he has a big belly, he sweats all the time and smells bad. But as they say in Côte d'Ivoire, the beauty of a man is in his wallet. And seen from this angle, Las PR has become a handsome man in the eyes of these girls with big butts, eager for easy money and ready to accept anything and anyone in exchange for hard cash. We can no longer count his female conquests in Côte d'Ivoire, from the young South African flight attendant who worked on the presidential plane and whom he regularly took to his bed, to the sister of the wife of the former mayor of Ajami. His specialty is to promise women who agree to take to his bed that he will marry them as a second wife. And to show them that he is serious, he offers them a used car as a token of his love. Offering cars to his mistresses is his real specialty, his tool of mass seduction. This is how, with cars and fresh money, he managed to marry his second wife, without the knowledge of his legal wife, Mariam Ouattara. Moreover, to properly carry out his sexual escapades, he exiled her to the United States, in Maryland, with her children. Far from her, he can give free rein to all his extramarital adventures, with complete impunity and indignity. A little stroll in New York. A little movement in New York. We stroll in New York. You see. Here's a little stroll, a little stroll, a little stroll. Come on, it's crazy here. Really, we stroll well here. You see. Really, I say hello to you. Hello, hello. And the host of NCI, Khady Touré, is one of the most beautiful trophies on his list of conquests. Otherwise, Carmen Sama, Kim Kamara and others have also tasted the wandering of his libidinous stick. Las PR, this man aged 60 today, he was born on July 21, 1965, is a sex maniac. He can no longer sit still when he sees a girl with a big buttocks passing by. He literally becomes like a louse, he jumps and jumps. He accosts the girl, offers to make all her dreams come true and satisfy all her ambitions. He tells her that he is a strong man in the Ivorian presidency and that he will offer her a villa and a car. When the girl resists a little, he showers her with gifts, and if she makes herself desired even more, he offers her a car and a trip to Dubai, in addition to paying her rent and giving her pocket money monthly. When she agrees to sleep with him, he withdraws as much as possible, with thrusts of his hips, all the money he has invested in her and throws her away to go hunting for the next game. These are the immoral individuals who populate the corridors of our presidential palace. RHDP activists helplessly watch this sexual debauchery of men for whom they have sacrificed their lives, their youth, their professional and family future. Seeing them wallow in public money and distribute it to loose girls in Abidjan, while they themselves languish in abject poverty, revolts them. The purchase of a luxury car worth more than 100 million CFA francs for a girl like Khady Touré, who cheated on her husband, Mr. Fadiga, after pushing him to chase away his first wife for her and who continues to sleep in secret with ministers, reflects all the contempt these people have for their activists. Which RHDP activist received 100 million CFA francs to carry out a project to become independent and employ other Ivorians? Which RHDP activist received a villa or a car for services rendered to the struggle for Alassane Ouattara's accession to the presidency? What is the fate of these dozens of former employees of the RDR headquarters in Cocody, who sacrificed everything for Alassane Ouattara and the RDR and who retired in misery and destitution? Meanwhile, the Las PR and others, who were hiding in the United States, arrive, grab the biggest piece of the cake and distribute it to all the easy girls in Abidjan. How ungrateful! How mean to these men and women! How base to see that these people have no respect for the positions they occupy and use taxpayers' money to put it in the butts of easy girls just to satisfy their libido. And this phenomenon is not new under the regime of the reconstructors, as they like to call themselves. Remember, on December 29, 2020, Chris Yapi revealed that Ahmed Bakayoko had chartered a private jet to bring to Côte d'Ivoire the Cameroonian, Alando Nawe Claude Emilia, better known under the pseudonyms Coco Emilia or Biscuit de Mer. She presented herself as a jet-setter, but all of Africa knows that she is in reality only a luxury prostitute. On Saturday, December 12, 2020, this woman landed in Abidjan and joined Ahmed Bakayoko in his chalet in Assani to satisfy all of this man's sexual fantasies. Cost of her service, which lasted a weekend, €60,000. That is nearly 40 million CFA francs. Lassina Ouattara, known as Las PR, is only following in the footsteps of this man. And in this regard, the new rich of the RDRHDP are numerous in hiring the services of easy girls in Abidjan, especially those with big buttocks, to lead them into lust and depravity. Haven't you noticed that today, in Abidjan, among young women, there is a frantic race to BBL surgery to give themselves big buttocks, big hips and big breasts? For what purpose? To seduce these perverts who are in power so that they steal public money to put it in their buttocks and offer them villas worth 250 million and cars worth 100 million CFA francs. Besides, ask yourself, who is financing the surgeries of these girls that cost several million CFA francs? These girls, most of whom come from modest backgrounds, cannot afford the plane ticket to Turkey, Tunisia or Morocco, as well as the hotel costs, the operation costs and post-medical follow-up. It is these perverts like Las PR who finance the operations of these girls to use them as sex toys and abandon them later. Yet, they have daughters too. Do they believe in karma? If we could stop working one day, throughout Côte d'Ivoire and have a minute of thanks, of applause for the President of the Republic, really, that would be the best gift we could give him. That is to say, stop all work, send a message to say that on that day, no one moves, 3 to 5 minutes of applause throughout Côte d'Ivoire. Even if it is in the United States, everywhere, we send this message to applaud the President, Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President, thank you. For the moment, the RDRHDP activists only have their eyes to cry with. They are realizing that their sacrifices and dedication will have served only one purpose, to offer dream lives to girls like Khady Touré, Carmen Sama, Emma Lohues and other busy managers of Abidjan. Dear executives, if you see that cyber activists cannot get together and communicate together, there are no other names, it is Lassina Ouattara, alias Las PR. He is the most false of the false. He is the most false executive. I say it, I assume it, and he knows what I am talking about. And from today, your nasty shitty posts, you must not send them to me anymore. You must not send me your stupid videos, where you are going to put our mothers under the sun for 2 kilometers and you distribute bags of rice to them, to show yourself because you want to look like Ahmed Bakayoko. You must never send them to me again. Never again. Your sacrifice of today, it is my close friend, an imam who told me. It is thanks to him that I fired a warning shot. Dear followers, you know me, it is not my habit to conduct social investigations. It is not my niche. And I would not have investigated if Mrs. Khady Touré had not made a mocking video to make fun of the Ivorians.
I don't care what you think of me. What you've been told is true. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all true. Can we move on?
She adopted such an attitude of I don't care because she was reassured and convinced that there was a mistake about the identity of the person who bought the Range Rover. But now that she knows that we were right, she will not dare to answer your servant. Because she knows that I know many other secrets about her and her friend from the last few days. And I wait, my hammer in hand. Chris Yapi does not lie. Find Chris Yapi on his 2 YouTube channels, his Rumble channel, his TikTok, X, Instagram, VK and Threads accounts.